Hello everybody, welcome back to the Sonic Chronicle. My name is Owen, and I know this week I put a post in the community post section of the channel to highlight that there would be no release radar review this week because I had COVID, and that is true. I did have COVID. I actually tested undetected for COVID yesterday, but we are actually back today, similar to how I was unwell for the Cowboy Carter release. Today we're going to talk about The Tortured Poets Department by Taylor Swift, which came out as of recording yesterday. In the time since its release, I've taken some time to go through and listen to all 16 songs on the Tortured Poets Department bass album. I have not listened to the anthology because I'm not a sadist, or maybe this is part of the expression that she's going to make everyone tortured poets by listening to this album. But I digress. What we're going to do today is slightly different to what we did with Cowboy Carter. We're going to not listen to all the songs. I've actually already listened to them all, and we're going to talk about the songs in general. First thing that struck me, Tortured Poets Department album cover looks quite similar to that of Martha Wainwright's album cover for I Know You're Married, But I've Got Feelings Too. I'm sure it's just like she wanted to do this, she wanted something classy in black and white. But yeah, that was just something that jumped out at me straight away. With regards to the music though, I'm just going to say it straight up. I think that this is very ambitious. It's a 16-song album. The first 5 songs are pretty boring, right? The first 5 songs, very samey, in my opinion, that I think that they're overproduced, or maybe they were produced around the same time, so there were similar techniques on the go there. But yeah, they're very boring and very samey. So Fortnite, Tortured Poets Department itself, My Boy Only Breaks His Toys, which is quite predictable in terms of its lyrical content. Down Bad is just a bad song. So Long London, boring. But then we start to get into some good stuff. And from here on out, it mostly alternates between good songs and bad songs. Mostly, I'll speak about that in a moment. So, But Daddy I Love Him, 5 minutes 40 seconds long. Good song. I'd recommend giving that one a listen. It's interesting, it goes places compared to the 5 songs before it. Fresh Out the Slammer, bad song. Florida, featuring Florence and the Machine, is, in my opinion, probably the pinnacle, the best point of the album. And that's about halfway through. So by that point, you have heard one good song out of 8. Sorry, you've heard 2 good songs out of 8 between But Daddy I Love Him and Florida, which isn't a great return. Guilty as Sin is a bad song, very heavy-handed in terms of its lyrical content and lyrical themes. It's heavily emphasizes the sin part, and uses Christian imagery to try and get the point across, but it's so heavy-handed and it's so clumsy that it just feels so disingenuous. And this is coming from someone who has 2 songs going to be coming out soon that rely heavily on Christian imagery and religious imagery. One is called Heaven Help Us and the other one is called Empty Church. And with titles like that, I'm still not as heavy-handed as this song is. Who's Afraid of Little Old Me? Good song. It's got attitude. It's in your face. It's brash. It's good. It's well written. I like it. I Can Fix Him, No Really I Can is, if I recall, it is a good song? No, sorry. That's not a good song. I Can Fix Him, No Really I Can. That's the short one that has the goddamn rubber bridge acoustic guitar sound that is very, very popular at the moment. I don't get it. It just, like, if I wanted my notes to sound muted and dull, I could probably do that on my own, to be honest with you. LOML, bad song. I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. That's an interesting song. It's quite up-tempo, quite upbeat. It's good. Again, one of the highlights of the album. And then The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, The Alchemy, and Clara Bow were back to boring territory. They're not very good songs. So that's 16 songs. And out of those 16 songs, there's about 4 songs on it that are good. 25% is not a great hit rate. I was talking to a friend of mine about this, actually, quite briefly on social media, about how, there's about 25% of this album is quite good. 75% isn't. And we kind of hit upon, I suppose, 2 things. One being that when you do have the output that Taylor Swift has, They're not all going to be winners, and that's fine. I would expect a higher hit rate than 25% though. Releasing 5 albums in 5 years is super ambitious. Her big tour, like, where do you find the time to write and get in the studio and put this stuff down and have it all be fresh and all quite interesting and unique? You don't. But then it kind of comes across as this idea of, well, I can release whatever I want. People will love it. It doesn't matter. I'm Taylor Swift. I can do what I want. Similar to, with Beyonce releasing Cowboy Carter. It wasn't a country record, but everyone is like, oh, she's released this great country album. It's not a great country album. There's a level of arrogance there when you have these superstars releasing this kind of stuff. I said it about Cowboy Carter. I'm going to say it again here. You could have really pared this down, and you could have really focused in on the things that were good in here, because it's not without elements of quality in here. I want to get that point across here as well. That there are flashes of quality in here that, if they'd been explored a little bit more, the album could have been so much more, could have benefited so much more from that. 16 songs is too many songs for an album, in my opinion. You could have gotten like a nice 8-9 track album out of this, and it would have been perfectly fine. And you could have gotten up to like a 40-45 minute runtime, rather than the hour and 5 that is from the 16 songs. The other thing here is that I'm really disappointed that the 2 biggest pop releases this year have occurred within the first 4 months, and neither of them have really lived up to what the expectations of them are. Again, 2 very, very long albums that really shouldn't have been as long as they are, that have just, disappointed. They could have had something really great and captured lightning in a bottle if they just pared stuff down and really kind of focused on the work and the art, rather than just kind of put out whatever they wanted, and people will just lap it up. I want to touch on a little bit about the title track here as well, The Tortured Poets Department, as a song. In the choruses of it, she references, a number of poets and artists, like and locations actually. That the first thing that she references is Dylan Thomas, classic poet. Patti Smith, again, well-renowned songwriter, well-renowned poet. But then also talks about the Chelsea Hotel. And the Chelsea Hotel, has been well known for, Bob Dylan living there for a while, and other artists and the like. But I think all of that is overshadowed by the fact that the Chelsea Hotel also became this hive, if you'll pardon the expression, of scum and villainy. Like, it was full of drug dealers and drug addicts. And it's actually where, if you don't know this, Sid Vicious murdered his girlfriend, Nancy Spungen. And Sid Vicious was not a poet. He wasn't even a bass player. He was a guy who was disenfranchised and was a victim of people around him saying yes to him and trying to push him into a spotlight because he had a look. And that is, just the antithesis of what a poet is. So yeah, that is the Tortured Poets Department. That is it in a nutshell for me. It's got 4 good songs out of 16, 25% hit rate. Not good enough in my opinion. If you disagree, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. I'm more than willing to listen to arguments for or against. Of course, if you like what I'm doing here, please do hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this kind of stuff, if you want to see more of me and my opinions on music and new releases and the like. And of course, I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.